The desert was never supposed to win. For thousands of years, this stretch of sand along the Arabian Gulf was a place people passed through, not a place they stayed. The heat was unforgiving. The land gave little. And yet, against every reasonable expectation, a city rose here that would one day dare to touch the clouds, bend the rules of economics, and rewrite what the word impossible even means. This is the story of Dubai. Not the glossy postcard version, but the full, dramatic, often risky journey that turned a quiet fishing settlement into one of the most audacious cities on Earth. Long before skyscrapers pierced the sky, before artificial islands reshaped the sea, Dubai began as something far humbler. Archaeological evidence suggests humans lived in this region as far back as 3000 BCE. These early inhabitants survived by adapting, fishing, herding, and trading across the desert routes that connected Arabia to Mesopotamia, Persia, and the Indus Valley. Dubai's location was its first advantage. Nestled beside a natural inlet known today as Dubai Creek, it offered shelter from the Gulf's harsh waters and an opening to the wider world. For centuries, life here followed the rhythm of the tides. The people of early Dubai were sailors, traders, and pearl divers. Pearls, in particular, would define the region's fate for generations. By the 18th century, the Gulf had become the center of the global pearl trade, supplying Europe, India, and beyond. Dubai's economy pulsed with the dangerous beauty of this industry. Divers plunged into deep waters with nothing but a nose clip, a rope, and their lungs, risking death every day for a chance at a gem that might change their families' fortunes. But Dubai was never alone in these waters. Power struggles rippled across the region as empires rose and fell. The Portuguese arrived first in the 1500s, drawn by the promise of controlling trade routes. Then came the Ottomans, and later the British, who saw the Gulf as a vital artery to their Indian empire. By the early 19th century, Britain had imposed a series of treaties with local rulers, branding the region the Trucial States. In exchange for British protection and maritime peace, local sheikhs surrendered control over foreign affairs. It was during this era that Dubai's ruling family, the Al Maktoums, entered the story. In 1833, Maktoum bin Buti of the Bani Yas tribe led around 800 followers from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, peacefully taking control of the settlement. That moment would quietly shape the city's destiny. The Al Maktoum family ruled with a rare combination of pragmatism and ambition, prioritizing trade, stability, and openness in a region often defined by conflict. Dubai soon distinguished itself from neighboring ports by doing something radical. It welcomed outsiders. While other Gulf cities imposed heavy taxes and restrictions, Dubai reduced trade barriers, invited foreign merchants, and positioned itself as a free port. Iranian traders fleeing political instability, Indian merchants seeking opportunity, and Arab traders from across the peninsula all found a home along the creek. Dubai became a cosmopolitan anomaly in the desert, small, scrappy, and surprisingly global. But prosperity built on pearls is fragile. In the early 20th century, disaster struck. First came World War I, which disrupted global trade. Then, in the 1930s, the Great Depression collapsed luxury markets. And finally, the killing blow. Cultured pearls from Japan flooded the world, cheaper and more consistent than natural pearls. Almost overnight, Dubai's primary industry died. The city fell into poverty. Hunger spread. Families abandoned their homes. It's said that at one point, nearly a quarter of Dubai's population left in search of survival elsewhere. This could have been the end, a footnote in history. Another failed port swallowed by the sands. Instead, it became the beginning of something far stranger. In 1958, a young ruler named Sheikh Rashid bin Saeed Al Maktoum came to power. He inherited a city with no oil, little money, and enormous debts. What he did have was vision. Sheikh Rashid believed Dubai's future depended on trade, infrastructure, and bold risks. Against the advice of many, he borrowed heavily to dredge Dubai Creek, allowing larger ships to dock. Critics called it reckless. But when trade surged, the gamble paid off. Then came the twist that would change everything. Though not in the way most people imagine. Oil was discovered in Dubai in 1966. Celebration followed, but the reserves were modest compared to neighboring Abu Dhabi. Sheikh Rashid understood something crucial. Oil would not save Dubai forever. It was a tool, not a destiny. Instead of hoarding oil wealth, Dubai spent it aggressively on ports, roads, schools, hospitals, and airports. The money flowed into building the foundations of a post-oil economy before the oil even peaked. In 1971, the United Arab Emirates was born. Dubai joined 6 other emirates in forming a federation, trading some sovereignty for stability and shared strength. Abu Dhabi, rich in oil, became the capital. Dubai, poorer but nimbler, became the engine. The 1970s and 80s were years of transformation. Jebel Ali Port opened in 1979, one of the largest man-made harbors in the world. Attached to it was something revolutionary for the region, a free trade zone where foreign companies could own 100% of their businesses. No local sponsor required, no heavy taxes. It was a daring experiment, and once again, it worked. Dubai began attracting global corporations, logistics giants, and entrepreneurs who saw opportunity where others saw desert. The skyline started to change, roads multiplied, migrant workers arrived in massive numbers, particularly from South Asia, building the city brick by brick. Dubai's population exploded, not because people were born there, but because the world moved in. By the 1990s, Dubai was ready for its most audacious reinvention yet. If oil wouldn't define its future, spectacle might. Dubai leaned into ambition with a grin. It built luxury hotels before it had mass tourism. It launched an airline, Emirates, that aimed not to compete, but to dominate global aviation. It branded itself relentlessly as a place where anything could happen, and then worked tirelessly to make that promise real. Then came the islands. Palm Jumeirah rose from the sea in the early 2000s, shaped like a palm tree visible from space. Critics mocked it as vanity. Environmentalists warned of consequences, but the world watched and then bought in. Luxury villas sold out. Celebrities arrived. Dubai's reputation shifted from fast-growing city to global spectacle. And then, in 2010, Dubai did something no city had ever done before. It completed the Burj Khalifa, the tallest structure humans have ever built. Over 828 meters of steel, glass, and audacity. During construction, the global financial crisis struck, threatening to bankrupt the city. Property prices collapsed, projects froze. Dubai stood on the brink. Salvation came from an old ally. Abu Dhabi stepped in with financial support, and in a symbolic gesture, the tower, originally called Burj Dubai, was renamed Burj Khalifa, honoring the UAE president. It was a humbling moment, a reminder that even the boldest dreams require support. Dubai survived the crash, and then it adapted. The city tightened regulations, diversified further, and doubled down on tourism, technology, finance, and culture. Museums rose alongside malls. Art districts flourished. Expo 2020, delayed but not defeated by a global pandemic, showcased Dubai as a hub of innovation and global dialogue. Today, Dubai is a city of contradictions that somehow coexist. Ancient souks sit beside luxury boutiques. Calls to prayer echo between skyscrapers. Emiratis make up a minority of the population, yet their cultural identity anchors the city's soul. It is a place built by immigrants, governed by tradition, and driven by relentless ambition. Dubai's story is not one of effortless success. It is a story of calculated risk, near collapse, and constant reinvention. A city that refused to accept the limits of geography, climate, or history. A city that looked at the desert and decided not to fight it, but to outdream it. And perhaps that is Dubai's greatest secret. Not oil, not money, not even architecture, but the unshakable belief that the future is something you build, even if the world says it shouldn't exist. Because in Dubai, the desert didn't win, the city did.